So anyway, yeah. So the difference is, yeah. But I think Washington actually ran better instead of this really like not talking to each other, doing all this mudslinging in public rather than working them things out in private. I think working things out in private is probably the best approach. As a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, that's the way it's usually done. If you're fighting with your family, you do that within your own home, but to the rest of the world, you put on a face, a happy face, that everything is fine at home. You don't drag it out into the street, you know, and start like fighting on the front lawn, okay? It's just not done. It's just not proper. So that's where I think about that. I mean, sure, L. Brookman and I, oh, of course, we're not family, though, are we? L. Brookman and I are opposite sides of the aisle. And it's really funny. Do I dare mention his name? No, because you are too insignificant to mention your name. This person, based on a comment or something comments that good old L. Brookman left on a video about, and it was Napalm Blute posted a video about a, oh, by the way, for those you don't watch Fez Night, this is the part where I talk a little bit about drama. But in this case, the drama is being mixed in a little bit with politics and YouTube drama. And so, yeah, Napalm Blute made a video about a you know, homeless person, allegedly homeless person. I think the title of the video said, "Bum Getting Arrested by Cops" or something. So right then, it's implied that the person who's posting the video sees this person as a bum. I didn't bother to watch it. I said, oh, here we go. I don't want to step into one of those fights and, you know, say, hey, he's not a bum, you know, he's just a person that's down on his luck. You know, you realize the homeless rate, I mean, there's people that were middle class, you know, that own homes that are living out of their cars. And to call people that don't have a home a bum is really unfair. But anyway, I digress. So, I didn't watch the video. But apparently L. Brookman upset this other vlogger. He didn't upset Napalm Blute, because I guess he was on Napalm Blute's side on this, is that the man deserved to be arrested. And I didn't watch the video, but from what I heard, I'd have to agree. Okay? I'd have to agree. Look, if you're breaking a local law, and what the man was doing was playing guitar on this thoroughfare someplace. And if they have a local law, like here in San Diego in Balboa Park, you cannot, as the Brits call busking, you cannot put your guitar case out there and play for money without a permit. And so I get that permit or permit. If you're kind of sounding like redneck, it's permit. It's like insurance. And sometimes I slip into that by accident. It's insurance and permit. So anyway, this guy got arrested. Okay, he was told to leave. He didn't want to leave, apparently. I didn't watch the video, but that's what I heard. And so he was arrested. And I'd have to agree with that. As a liberal, if you disagree with the law, you don't break it, unless it's smoking pot. You don't break it. You fight to have the law changed. And this person, so I'd have to be in agreement, but I'm more for the spirit of the law rather than the letter of the law, okay? And to me, the letter of the law is part of the conservative law and order kind of idea. And the letter of the law is that if it's the law, you follow it per the word, okay? This man is not supposed to panhandle. He's not complying, so we're going to arrest him. Now, as a spirit of the law sort of thing, if the guy was playing his guitar, and the reason why this law is there is because they don't want people blocking traffic. I understand that's the main thing. If you have the guy performing there and he gets a group watching him, then it doesn't allow people to pass by. And so that's the reason why the law was made, or at least that's what they were saying. If it was like, you know, like 7 in the morning or 10 o'clock at night or sometime when there's really nobody around and he's playing his guitar, I'd give him a pass. I mean, I had a similar thing happen to me. I had this little tiny motorcycle that wasn't large enough to trip the sensors. And I was, years and years ago, when I, you know, I had long hair, you know, so they probably profiled me too. But it was like 3 in the morning. I was at a traffic light that was red. I was trying to make a left turn. There was not a car in sight. There were no cars coming. And since there were no cars coming, the light stayed red. And my motorcycle would not trip the sensor. And I waited. And then I lost my patience and said, you know, forget it. Here I go. As soon as I did that, I got pulled over. There were 3 cop cars that I didn't bother to look over my shoulder, parked at the donut shop. And all 3 cop cars, the first one came up, then the other 2 followed up. So I had 6 police officers standing around at 3 o'clock in the morning taking jibes at me, you know. And the letter of the law is I broke the law. The spirit of the law was there's no cars coming. What was I going to do? And they would cut me some slack and let me go. No, I got a ticket. Boy, was I upset, especially having 6. I really felt like this is not fair. This is before the time of videotaping. Wouldn't it be great if somebody would have videotaped it? So anyway, you understand the difference, right, between the spirit of the law and the letter of the law. And I understand right-wing conservatives, they're all about the letter of the law. And you know what? It's simpler if you follow the letter of the law because you don't have to think. You don't have to think about what's fair or what makes sense. It's the letter of the law. You know, so yeah, usually for right-wing conservatives, there's not a whole lot of thinking going on. Wink, wink. So anyway, this other vlogger, and in this case, I'm in agreement with a Brookman, but for different reasons. You know, of course, as a bleeding heart liberal, I would say, oh, you know, have compassion on the guy. Come on, give him a break, you know. But I didn't watch the video, and apparently he didn't comply. So you get busted. What happened to me, it happened to anybody. And but this vlogger tried to turn it into a freedom of speech issue, that somehow the man's constitutional rights were being violated. And you know, you can't just gather in a group and have public assembly because they do have loitering laws in this country. Because there's some places it's just not safe to have people gathering. You just don't want it. What, do you want to watch a bunch of Crips hanging out on your street corner? Come on. Yeah, I carry the blue bandana. That makes me a Crip. Yo, brother. To my homies, I spill my coffee on the ground. I don't know all that lingo. So anyway, no, I can't put it back in my pocket. So anyway, this guy said that somehow I had magically turned L. Brookman into a liberal. And the guy was so far from the truth. And this has been a weird couple weeks. Maybe it's because I stopped smoking weed. But L. Brookman and I have agreed on 3 different things. I can't think of all 3, but this was one. And he pointed it out to me. I was like, whoa. This man has no clue. First he says that L. Brookman, I magically turned him into a libtard. As you know, as people that can't win an argument start calling each other names. Hey, and I'll admit, I fall into that level too. When you get so angry, you just get blind, you know. And so yeah, he's claiming that L. Brookman had turned into a liberal, and I pointed out to him, liberals are the first ones to defend freedom of assembly, and this is like the most prime example, and I use it over and over and over again. The ACLU is certainly not a conservative group, is it? Okay, the conservatives hate the ACLU, and yet the ACLU has come to conservatives and right-wing and fascists to their defense. I don't remember what town, but I know that this happened, that there was a group of Nazis, neo-Nazis, American Nazis, I don't know why they call themselves Americans, wanted to march. And the locals were not going to allow them. And for whatever reason. I don't know. Why? Why would you not want Nazis marching through your town? But they weren't going to allow them. The ACLU defended their right to free speech and peaceable assembly. And so protecting civil rights is a liberal thing. And how this person can be so thick not to understand that is beyond me. And And sure, conservatives enjoy the rights for peaceable assembly. I mean, yesterday I didn't really follow it too close. I didn't want to like bust another blood vessel, but Glenn Beck had a rally, and you know, and he has every right to. More on that later. So anyway, this person, I just had a long back and forth argument. I've been fighting wars in the comments section on videos and in the channel pages on several fronts. So I got too much time on my hands, and it's getting to me. I'm cracking under the pressure, but I shall prevail. And so with this I use the term loosely, gentleman. We had a back and forth, and I was trying to point out the fallacy in his logic in calling L. Brookman and I, calling L. Brookman a liberal. Hey, I was actually defending L. Brookman. Don't call him. Everything that L. Brookman said is a dyed-in-the-wool, what a dyed-in-the-wool conservative would say. And, and there was nothing in there that I, and in this case, for different reasons, we were in agreement. The man should have been arrested. Okay, he broke the law. And it's not a freedom of speech issue. It's not a violation of his federal rights. And so, finally, we got to the point where I was saying, can't you tell the difference between the right and the left, a conservative and a liberal? And apparently, this guy, and I've known this about him, he's one of those crackpot, lunatic fringe Alex Jones followers. And, he was really saying, oh, you should have heard his rant about 9/11. Oh, man. Textbook case of lunatic fringe ranting. He finally said that there is no difference between the right and the left, Republican or Democrat or conservative and liberal. I said, well, then you just owned yourself. Because why did you make the video saying that I turned L. Brookman liberal when there's no difference? Why make the video? Your video has no point. Your video is pointless, just as you are, sir. Notice how I ensnared him into my net of logic without having to use curse words or insinuate that he had butt sex with men. There was no need for that.